Welcome to Good Screenwriting. I'm Trevor Meyer, and today we're going to talk about Justice League. I am so conflicted about this movie. Oh, I am at war with myself. I don't know how I feel about this one. Um, it's not bad. It's not particularly good either. It's okay. It's okay. But the thing is, it's not just a meh. It's not like a medium, okay movie. There's stuff in it that's really great that I love, and it's everything I wanted it to be. And there's stuff in it that I really don't like and doesn't work at all, and I wish it didn't happen. So it's a high and low thing for me. It's not just an average okay movie. It alternates between being a fantastic movie and being kind of a bad movie in some cases. So, how do I lead into this? I want to do a non-spoiler section first here. And it's kind of tough because, spoiler alert, if you're looking at this video right now, you see Superman over on the left. Okay, so we're not going to talk about that right now, but bottom line, this movie is not as good as any of the Marvel movies. Well, maybe better than Incredible Hulk, all right? It's sort of like the Avengers. It's sort of like Age of Ultron. It's sort of like Thor: The Dark World, but it doesn't work as well as any of those. All right. Is it good? Is it as good as Thor: Ragnarok? No, not a chance. Um, Now, here's one of the reasons though that I'm so conflicted, and I think it's the critic side of me versus the audience member side of me. The Compared to Wonder Woman, for example, okay, Wonder Woman is a freak accident, it seems, in the DC universe because it is a straight A movie. It made a lot of money. It got over 90% positive rating from the critics and over 90% positive rating from the audience. Actually, I think it dropped down to like 89%, but whatever. Um, Now, here's the thing though, the critics rate this movie, Justice League, about 50-60% lower than Wonder Woman. I think Wonder Woman is around 92, and I think Justice League is around like 39 right now on Rotten Tomatoes. So it dropped quite a bit for the critics going from Wonder Woman to Justice League. But for the audience, though, uh, it's only down 3% from Wonder Woman. The audience gives it an 89 for Wonder Woman and 86 for Justice League currently. So for the audience, this movie works almost as well as Wonder Woman, which is pretty impressive. And I gotta say, look, they did a lot of things right in this movie. Here's what I'll say: it's not as good as I wanted it to be, but it's better than I thought it would be. Okay, if that makes sense. It's not as good as I wanted it to be, but it's better than I thought it would be. Um, it it's my second favorite of the DCEU movies. Now, to really put that in context here, though, it's sort of like I predicted that the RoboCop remake would be not as good as the first RoboCop, but better than RoboCop 2 and 3. And it's like, well, yeah, obviously. The gap there is so huge, how could you miss it? All right. The first RoboCop way up there, and 2 and 3 about as low as you can get. So, of course, the remake is going to fall somewhere in the middle. Um, and I said the same thing about Justice League. I said, my prediction is that it's going to be uh, better than any other DC movie except Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's going to be better. And if you really look at the scores, it's like, well, yeah, obviously. The gap is so huge between Wonder Woman and what had previously been the second place movie in the list, which I believe was Man of Steel. So I said it's going to be somewhere between Wonder Woman and Man of Steel. It's like, well, duh. Now, the critics don't agree. If you actually look at the Rotten Tomatoes ratings, the critics will rank them almost the same as the audience, but with one of them flipped. The critics like Man of Steel better than Justice League, but the audience likes Justice League better than Man of Steel. This is my second favorite DCEU movie. I would rank them as Wonder Woman, Justice League, Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and Suicide Squad. I'm sorry, they kind of messed up Suicide Squad. This movie is a lot like Suicide Squad, but with heroes instead of villains. Okay? That's probably what they were going for before. Problem is, has the exact same problems as Suicide Squad, which is I love the heroes. I love the main characters, the titular Justice League, as you would say. Um, the villain is terrible. Steppenwolf. Why? Why'd they go for Steppenwolf? Of all the villains that could have been, I was really hoping for Darkseid, honestly. I thought we were going to get Darkseid at some point, and I guess it's no coincidence that in all the trailers and all the TV spots that I've seen, not a lot of focus on the villain. I didn't really know who the villain was going to be. I knew there were parademons, but I thought that Darkseid was going to show up at some point. But it's Steppenwolf, who, you know what? I'm gonna call BS on this whole DC has the better villains, Marvel villains suck. Yeah, right. Okay, name any DC villain, and I'll give you an equivalent or even better Marvel villain. All right, you could say, yeah, okay, Batman's got a lot of great villains. Okay, Spider-Man's got a lot of great villains. Okay, so they can cancel out pretty much everyone from Batman and Spider-Man's rogues gallery right there. You got Lex Luthor, we got Loki. All right, what else do you have? Really, even in the movies, what do you have? You got Steppenwolf. All right, you got Malekith. You got uh, who is it? Ares, I guess, in Wonder Woman. Not that much better than any other Marvel villain, honestly. I mean, where did this myth come from that DC has all the good villains? They don't. They don't. I don't think Marvel has the good villains either. I think it's a tie. All right. The villain department is seriously lacking in all of these movies, I think. You got the Joker? Fine, we'll give you the Joker. But again, we got Loki, so, whatever. But let's jump into the spoiler section here, okay? So, bottom line, if you don't want it to be spoiled, I give this movie a 3 out of 5, okay? It's a 3 out of 5, but honestly, it varies between a 1 out of 5 and a 5 out of 5 as I'm watching it. Like, it's very inconsistent in terms of quality, unfortunately. So, I've actually seen this movie twice already. I saw Thor Ragnarok twice, and I've seen Justice League twice, because the stuff I like, I really, really like. So it may be worth it just to watch that stuff. But unfortunately, it kind of reminds me of Amazing Spider-Man 2 in that way. Amazing Spider-Man 2 has some stuff that I really, really love, and it's got some of the best acting I've ever seen in a superhero movie. But then it's got some really, really terrible stuff that kind of balances it out a little bit. So, that being said, I think Justice League is worth seeing. If you're a superhero fan, go see it. If you're an action movie fan, go see it. If you're not that excited, you can wait. You can wait for Blu-ray. It's fine. Don't worry. But yeah, that's my bottom line. Is it as good as the Marvel movies? No. In my opinion, no. But is it one of the best movies DC's done since the shared universe launched with Man of Steel? Yeah. Other than Wonder Woman, it is the best movie that they've done. So, yeah, take that for what it is. All right. Time for spoiler territory. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Superman's back! Yay! Yeah, you didn't see that coming, did you? It's only called the Justice League. If you look at this picture here, you'll see Superman's costume is quite a bit brighter than it was in Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman, and I have a feeling that was not an accident. That might have been a little contribution from our pal Joss Whedon in the reshoot section of the movie. In fact, I know it was, because here again, it's a love-hate relationship. I love the fact that he's got the brighter costume, but I know that it's part of the new footage because, how do I explain this? Superman's face looks weird throughout this entire movie because, and I say entire movie, I mean he's in the movie for like 20 minutes, but it doesn't work because they brought him in for reshoots when Joss Whedon took over the picture, and Henry Cavill at that point was working on Mission Impossible 6, and he had a mustache. He had grown a mustache and some facial hair around it. And Paramount Pictures I love them. They gave us the Marvel movies. They gave us the Star Trek movies. They gave us the Indiana Jones movies. I love Paramount. But they would not allow Henry Cavill to shave off his mustache to do the reshoots for Justice League. So he shot Justice League with his facial hair, and they computer animated it off of his face. His lower jaw, his mouth, his lips area is computer animated because they had to edit out his facial hair. Now, in my mind, I know Paramount's looking out for their best interests. The easier solution and better solution for everyone would be for him to shave off his facial hair and put on fake facial hair. And I get it. Okay, Paramount is saying, we're not going to spend extra money for hair and makeup just to match the stuff we've already shot with them. I get it. They're looking out for their best interest. But, man, it's really distracting in Justice League when the bottom half of his face looks like it's made of rubber. He looks like an android. I actually thought it was not the real Superman at first. I thought that it was going to be like a Death of Superman type thing where he was going to come back as Cyborg Superman because he looks like an android, goddammit. If Henry Cavill had shown up at the end of the movie as the real Superman in the black suit with a beard and long hair, then I would like, oh, I got you. You just edited out the beard so that you could have two different versions of Superman. I got that, but it wasn't even for the benefit of this movie. All right, so that was not a twist that happened that I wanted. But look, I really respect the fact that this movie was able to keep it under 2 hours long, which was a studio mandate, by the way. Warner Brothers said, we have had enough of the backlash of these 3-hour DC movies. You got to keep this one under 2 hours, including credits. Including credits. And they actually failed. It's 2 hours and 1 minute. But, you know, little post-credit scene doesn't hurt. All right? So, God, there are so many things that they do right in this movie, and so many things that bug the crap out of me. So, one of the things that really stuck out that I was amazed by, that made me so happy, that they've never done before. In the opening credits sequence, I noticed that the music was composed by Danny Elfman. I didn't know that when I went into the movie. And I was like, Danny Elfman? He did the 1989 Batman with Michael Keaton and Tim Burton. I wonder if he's going to slip a little bit of the 1989 Batman theme in there. And there's a part in the movie about an hour or so in where Jim Gordon lights up the bat signal and he looks up and he sees Batman on a rooftop. And they do bum, 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 bum. I'm like, holy crap. What was that? They just did the Batman theme from 1989. What the hell? And then about, and I thought I was imagining it. I'm like, he did it. I heard it. He did it. And in the final battle in Act 3, Batman is in the Batmobile and he's running from parademons. And I heard just a little, like, 5-second flourish of bum, ba-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da, bum, bum. I'm like, oh my God, they're doing the 1989 Batman theme. This is freaking awesome. I was so excited by it that literally, when I sat through all the credits, you get to the bottom of the credits, and it says all the music that was in the movie. And it said, theme from Batman, 1989. I literally pointed at the screen and said, ha! I knew it! But then it rolled a little bit further, and I saw, okay, Is She With You from Batman vs. Superman. That's Wonder Woman's theme. And then I saw Superman theme, 1978. I was like, how did I miss that? I was like, they did John Williams' Superman theme from 1978? Where was that in the movie? And it's buried in there, but when the second time I saw the movie and when I listened to the soundtrack, it's there. It is there. And it's very subtle. And, you know, honestly, I was probably distracted by Henry Cavill's weird face in this movie. But there's 3 times in the movie that I heard where they do the Superman theme. And it's, again, spoiler alert, they bring Superman back to life with the Mother Cube, okay? And he's not all there. It's there's a great joke with the Flash where they say, "Is he going to come back like a yay, he's back, or is it going to be more like a Pet Cemetery type thing?" And it was a Pet Cemetery type thing. They brought him back to life, and he was not all there, and he actually attacks the Justice League, and it's this great, Flash, Cyborg, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Aquaman versus Superman. So you get to see how powerful Superman really is. But uh, when he first wakes up, Wonder Woman says he's back, and in the background you hear bum, 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 bum. It's really quiet. It's very quiet. But then there's one where, again, I must have just been distracted by how cool it was to see the Flash fighting Superman in slow motion at super speed. But there's a part where Superman's throwing a punch at the Flash, and they go bum, 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 bum. And then at the very end of the movie, when Superman finally gets his stuff together and he's wearing the Superman suit brighter than ever, red and blue, and he punches Steppenwolf in the face, and that's his introduction in Act 3. And there's a real quiet again, like bum, 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 bum. And then he punches Steppenwolf in the face, and then when Steppenwolf goes flying, we hear this bum, 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 big heroic Superman thing. And they bring in Wonder Woman's theme, but it's not like the electric guitar crazy version we heard before. Danny Elfman, used the theme in an orchestral way, So it's still the bum 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 bum. This is just me doing an a cappella version of the Justice League soundtrack, apparently. The only thing that would have made this better, screw it, just throw in the Flash theme from the CW show. My God, that would have been amazing. Why not? Just do that. Just take the Flash's theme from the CW show and throw that in the movie and see how much people freak out. So, as you can tell, there are certain parts of this movie that I get excited about. There's a lot more humor. There's a lot more fun. The Flash is amazing. Superman, better in some ways than we've seen before, but his weird frickin' face bothers me. Cyborg, you know what? They give him a lot of cool backstory for only having, about 5 minutes of setup time in this movie. Wonder Woman, fantastic as always. Aquaman is awesome. So anyone who ever made fun of Aquaman and thought Aquaman's the stupidest person in the Justice League, they pulled a Thor on him, They actually made him cooler than Thor. He's actually... Thor often ends up being the butt of many jokes, whereas Aquaman, he's the one making jokes. It was the brilliant thing that I saw in the trailer for the first time, which was everyone makes fun of Aquaman, and they think Batman's awesome. And I saw the trailer where Aquaman is like, "You dressed up like a bat, huh? I dig it." And it's like, he's making fun of Batman. Like, they made him into the guy who ridicules everyone else for looking stupid. So that was a brilliant move right there. They made him the coolest one in the group. And, of course, Batman. Batman. This is the best version of... Well, it's not like we've had a lot to work with here. It was Dawn of Justice. But this version of Batman that Ben Affleck has done is way better, and it's what I was hoping for in Dawn of Justice. In Dawn of Justice, like, he's got such a stiff... granted, the dialogue is badly written in Dawn of Justice. Here, they give him some human dialogue that he can read easily, which is one of the things I mentioned in my books and other audiobooks, is that just make your dialogue easy to say, for God's sake. And I know that was Joss Whedon. He got credit for the script, all right? Joss Whedon probably rewrote all of the dialogue in this movie and reshot it, all right? So... You can blame the green screen and the crazy monster fights and stuff like that on Zack Snyder and give all the wit and the humanity to Joss Whedon. So my opinion on this is that Joss Whedon came in and he did the best that he could, but it was fundamentally broken to begin with. So there wasn't much he could do. He did a lot, and he helped a lot. Like, he gave it a nice paint job, but the motor was not working, okay? All the surface details are right and were well done. It's just Steppenwolf was a lame villain, and if you know anything about comic book movies and action movies, the villain's plot is the main plot, okay? The villain's goal is the spine of the movie. So if that doesn't work, nothing works. And Steppenwolf was a lame villain, okay? And his plan kind of sucked, all right? Um, so it's the same thing as Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad had a bunch of great characters, and they're fighting Enchantress of all people. Again, DC has the best villains. Yeah, BS. Um, and it's the swirling garbage in the sky, and it's the zombies again. You know, those blowfish zombies. So we got parademons this time, and instead of Enchantress, we get why do they always have to bring in this giant dude with horns, right? Enchantress had a brother in that movie who looks an awful lot like Steppenwolf. Um, it's the whole swirling garbage in the sky, and there's another portal into the sky again, and a MacGuffin and mother boxes and stuff. Um, that part is lame. All right, so that's the other half of the equation that doesn't work. Good guys are good, and the bad guys suck. All right, and I know Marvel has had the same criticism, but for example, Thor: The Dark World, kind of the same thing. Malekith is kind of a lame villain, and he's got the ether, the all-powerful ether, and he's going to destroy stuff. But the stuff that works in Thor: The Dark World is just enough, just barely enough to outshine what's wrong with it. In this one, the stuff that's right is just not quite good enough to outshine the stuff that's wrong. All right? I think it's about 50-50 for me. As you can tell, there's stuff that I love, stuff that I hate. Kind of a wash at this point. If you're a fan of the superhero genre, go check it out. If you're a DC fan, go check it out. There are some moments in it that made me so freaking happy. And honestly, they should just give this franchise to Joss Whedon, because I can tell that the stuff that worked was all his, okay? I'm sorry, Zack Snyder, you've done your best. It's time to bow out, my friend. Time to do something else. Go make another 300 movie. I don't know. They brought back the Watchmen series in the comics. You can make some more of those, But I think the DC Extended Universe is in better hands with Joss Whedon and Patty Jenkins, okay? So just let them take it and hope for the best, all right? So, bottom line, 3 out of 5. If you're excited for it, go check it out. If you're not that excited for it, it can wait. It can wait. You can wait for Blu-ray, okay? Oh, man, I didn't even get to the post-credit scene. Jesse Eisenberg shows up again at the end of the movie as Lex Luthor, looking a little bit more like the Lex Luthor from the comic book. He's bald, he's wearing a suit, and he's talking about assembling the Legion of Doom with Deathstroke. We get a cameo by Deathstroke from the next Batman movie, okay? So I even have hope that they're going to reinvent Lex Luthor and make him still keep Jesse Eisenberg, but stop making him like the Riddler, okay? They made Henry Cavill much more bright and happy and hopeful as Superman. Fantastic. I love that. They made Batman a little bit more human. Love that. And they made Lex Luthor a little bit more sinister. So, you know what? They're heading in the right direction. I imagine this is going to be like the Fast and Furious franchise, where the first half of it is going to be pretty rough, and they haven't quite found their footing yet. But they can fix it. They can stick with this continuity they've established, and they can make it better. They can turn it around and turn it into a legitimate franchise that can compete with Marvel, okay? So, that's it. Have you seen the movie? Have you not seen the movie? What do you think about what I've just said? Oh my God, I've just started a massive Marvel and DC debate in the comment section below. What have I done? Try to keep it civil, folks. We're all part of the same team. See what I did there? That was Christopher Reeve, Superman. We're all part of the same team. This is Good Screenwriting, and I'm Trevor Meyer. See you next time.